create content that inspires you? Talent that is simply too dope to describe? Welcome to Fahrenheit TV.
Fahrenheit TV.
Fahrenheit TV is a live monthly variety show that showcases people's greatness through narratives and artistic expression.
We're back with a brand new season of content that will uplift your soul.
Tune into our live episodes here on BNN TV or subscribe to our YouTube channel. Be sure to follow us on social media to keep up with all our latest news. We hope that you'll tune in.
Hey Fahrenheit TV, I hope that you are doing well and having a terrific Thursday so far. My name is Farah and I am your host and producer of Fahrenheit TV. Thank you so much for tuning into our second virtual episode. We are now in week 7 of the quarantine life, and I know it has altered our lives and our everyday lives, our world in so many different ways. So I hope that through all of that you're in good health and you're staying at peace and hopefully finding some things to dabble in, as we figure out what's the new normal going to look like. For me, I can't believe it's been 7 weeks. The days are just kind of passing by. Every day kind of seems like a weekend now. But I've been just really trying to stay productive in terms of, thinking about how the future of Fahrenheit TV will look like. Working on my art, trying to learn more styles and new skills, and it's really nice to even finally read a book. I know that might sound like a crazy thing, but when you're so used to being on the go all the time, and you're trying to schedule and fit things all in, you don't always have the time to do so. So I have books in my house that were gifted to me years ago that I never had the time to really take a chance and read it all. So I've been finding a lot of I've been trying to stay very calm doing that, and it's brought me a lot of joy just to be at peace and just read or listen to something really closely without having to think about, oh, what's the next thing to do, or I have to do this job. But on the flip side, I would say, I am worried about how, jobs and stuff will look like for me and for other people. I know finances are really tight for a lot of people right now. But I am grateful that, again, that we have technology, we have the internet that is, keeping us alive, keeping us entertained, keeping us up to date of what's going on in the entire world as, we battle the coronavirus. And again, my thoughts and prayers go out to you and your family if you know anybody that's, being affected by the coronavirus. And I just hope that there'll be more peace and blessings that come your way. Tonight's episode, I'm so excited for it because, again, this is our second virtual episode, but this time I got to interview someone for the first time on Zoom. So I know Zoom is everybody's used it. Zoom has saved our lives. Shout out to Zoom. I know people have been attending meetings upon meetings on Zoom, but I used it for the first time to interview an incredible spoken word artist by the name of Miss SublimeLuv. She is a Boston native that has really used her poetry to not only uplift others and tell stories, but use it as activism. So today we're going to be learning more about Miss Sublime's journey as a poet and spoken word artist. We're going to be learning a little bit more about the themes she chooses to write upon and speak about in her art. And she's going to share with us how we can, write poetry ourselves, because April is National Poetry Month, and we really want to give a shout out to those skilled people who are able to take words and transform them into stories, into, provoking thoughts that make us really, have a love for poetry and all the passion that's within it. So I'm so excited to show you this footage. This is our first Zoom meeting, my first Zoom meeting recording. I apologize if it's a little grainy, but give a big shout out to Miss SublimeLuv for doing this, while working and while still, doing spoken word virtually. We can't wait to hopefully meet her in person and have her on the physical show, at BNN when we, get into our new normal, get out of quarantine life. But Without further ado, here is the fabulous interview with Miss SublimeLuv. I hope you enjoy.
Fahrenheit TV.
Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Fahrenheit TV. I am your host and producer, Farrah June, and I am so excited to have an amazing guest with us. You know, our world is going through a pandemic right now, but we are still determined to bring you content to uplift your soul. And there's still so much greatness happening in our world, right here in our community. And one of those blessings goes by the name of Miss SublimeLuv. So welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Farrah, for having me. This is amazing. I'm really honored to be here, and it's National Poetry Month, so I feel super honored. Super honored in that.
Of course. We are so excited to have you on our first, virtual episode. Thank you for being with us and sharing your greatness with us in advance. And we can't wait to learn about your journey. But before we get into learning about your journey, I wanted to just check in with you. How are you doing? How are you staying at peace during this, historical moment in our world?
Yeah, you know what? I'm honestly just creating. I mean, that's what always gets me through is just creating. It's National Poetry Month, so I'm writing a poem every day.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'll share one of them with you later on.
Okay.
And really trying to remain centered and just have faith that, this too shall pass. And I'm just trying to also lean on community. I feel like even though we can't physically see each other, at least we have technology, which is amazing because we can video chat each other.
Yes.
So I'm really grateful for those ways of connecting.
Yeah, me too. And I'm so excited that you also have that optimism in you because, for me, artists are my heroes. So people like you are my heroes because that's who I look up to stay at peace, to stay calm, to stay inspired. So if you're have an optimistic view on things, then it makes me feel calm. You know what, we will get through this. And in the meantime, we could create dope content and, things that we could tell our future, grandchildren about and stuff. So yeah, this is awesome. So, again, it's National Poetry Month. This is your month. I know it must feel a little odd not being on stage physically, but it is really cool that you're still writing poetry every day, which is incredible. So I wanted to, it's a Thursday. I wanted to take it to a throwback Thursday and kind of ask you, when was do you remember the first poem that you read, or that, a poem that really got to you, that it kind of inspired you to, be on the stage yourself?
Yeah, that's a great question, Vara. So I don't remember the first poem I actually read. I think it might have been children's poetry probably at a very young age. But I do remember clearly the first time I performed. I was about 10 or 11. And my mom was putting together this event of about 500 or so people. And I had already kind of been, a outgoing little kid. So she wanted me to do something. So I loved Maya Angelou's "And Still I Rise." That's my jam. So I memorized "And Still I Rise," and I performed it. And I performed it without mistakes, and I felt really proud of myself. And I was 10 or 11, maybe sixth grade, or I think it might have been fifth or sixth grade, 10 or 11 years old. I can't remember the exact age, but I felt super proud of myself. I got over my little nerves at the time, and I was really well received by the audience. That was my first moment of feeling kind of a performance high.
Oh my, to me, that's just incredible because usually at that age, you could be so shy and, the insecurity starts to creep up. So for you to go on stage in front of 500 people, I was like, all right, still I rise. And, you're giving this power, that's pretty dope. And it's amazing that you had such confidence at such a young age. And obviously that has stayed with you throughout, adulthood and stuff like that. So when I'm listening to your poetry on YouTube, thank God for YouTube, because
I know, right?
Seriously, YouTube, Instagram, and I'm looking at your videos, I'm listening to the poetry. You talk about a lot of different themes, but a lot of the themes that I connect with is you talk about, Blackness, womanhood, and sexuality. And I wanted to ask you, why are those themes so important to you, throughout your poetry?
Yes, great question, Vara. So honestly, my identity, of course, is, for those who don't know me, I'm a Black queer womanist. So with those identities, I feel like they play a central part in my life. They define my experiences, being a Black woman being a woman is hard, being a Black woman is super hard. You know,
Yep.
you're always having to assert yourself. Sometimes when you assert yourself, you know, you're labeled kind of the B word or super aggressive.
Or the angry
when
Black woman.
Exactly, when you're really just existing. So that identity to me is so crucial, and it guides my work. Of course, being queer, that's just as equally crucial, because that's also another identity that is often persecuted and misunderstood.
Yep.
And then just a womanist and womanism for me. Well, just to define what a womanist is, of course, you hear feminists all the time.
Yeah.
But womanist and womanism comes from kind of like the great Audre Lorde, the great Alice Walker. The feminist movement in the 1960s was super racist. Did not include women of color, Black women, you know, at all. So they brought about kind of this concept of womanism. So a womanist is someone who embodies kind of intersectional feminism, which is the feminism for everybody, including women of color, Black women.
I love that.
So
that's
yeah,
good history. I didn't even know that. So I'm like, yes, thank you for teaching me. I know you're a teaching artist, so that's awesome. Wow. So I know, like, you know, we talked a little bit about the themes in your poetry, but like, what shifted you to like kind of take it more as, you know, to be a working artist and do spoken word more often, not just like, you know, when you're on stage for mommy and stuff. Like, how did you kind of transition to getting to being a working artist?
Yeah, I feel like, so, you know, I took you back to kind of 10, 11, but during my teenage years, I was, of course, always writing, and I shared a poem with my mother, who asked me after I shared it, "You didn't write that, did you write that?" So that gave me some confidence, because I'm like, wow, this is really good if my mom's like saying I plagiarized it.
Yeah.
My confidence grew, and by college, when college came around, I was physically reading my poems at open mics. And then if you could feel it, you could speak it came about in 2009, and that's my home mic. If you guys aren't familiar, if you can feel it, you can speak it happens at the Milky Way every second Thursday of the month.
Yep.
And we're doing virtual mics now every Thursday, so we actually have one tonight.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'll send you, when people maybe start following me, I'll post it again.
Okay.
But it's a virtual open mic on Zoom that we have every Thursday now.
Oh, so I'll definitely share that. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And to bring it back, so in 2009, that the mic, If You Can Feel It, You Speak It came about, and that's my home mic. That's where I really grew as an artist. My friends at the time were actual spoken word artists, like that was their title. That's what they were doing in the world. So that inspired me. And I began to memorize my work to take it to the next level. So once I began to memorize, that made me even more confident, because I felt like more of a connection with my audience as I'm like being able to look at them, not just reading from behind the paper.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then in 2012, I changed my name from Amber to SublimeLuv, to have a stage name, to have an artist name. So once I changed my name to SublimeLuv, I was super confident. I'm like, yes, I'm a spoken word poet. You know?
Yeah, it's like an alter ego. You're like, all right, I'm channeling her. I'm in it. Yeah.
Exactly. And just to give context behind my name, so sublime was a word that I was using a lot in my poems. It was a common word that I was using a lot. And of course, it means supreme, outstanding. So I chose that. And then love, I spell it L-U-V instead of L-O-V-E. I spell it L-U-V because I feel like that for me and what I want to get out into the world, it symbolizes revolutionary love. So that's love for oppressed peoples, Black love, trans love, gay love, disabled love. You know, no matter how society deems us worthy or unworthy, we should love ourselves and each other. So that's like that supreme kind of love, revolutionary love. So that's kind of like the background behind why I call myself SublimeLuv.
Honestly, it's fitting because, it's fit for a queen, and your work already speaks for itself. And I like that you spell L-U-V, love, because I remember just like seeing that spelled like that, throughout middle school, and even when people are texting and they put love like that. I don't know, it kind of hits home for me. It's like a deeper love, a love that you don't understand, So I think that's awesome. And like, shout out to If You Could Feel It, if you could see it, you could speak it, because like, if you could feel it, speak it, right? Because like I remember them even coming to like slam poetry night at Haley House, and them doing their thing, and you know, me also seeing them at different like events and stuff throughout Boston. Like I really love the energy that they bring on stage and how they really, you know, reel people in. So shout out to your entire collective, because you guys are doing the thing. And I will definitely tune in tonight, as well as our audience.
For sure.
That's awesome that you're still doing that for us, you know, even in this you know, a transitional period in our lives. So I think that's awesome. So, you know, you're telling us that, you know, that that's when you started really, you know, owning SublimeLuv, right? That's how she kind of was born over there on stage. Like, do you ever get stage fright? And like, how do you, you know, is there a ritual or something you go through? And if you're not comfortable to share, I just always thought, because it's like all eyes on you, you know, all eyes on you. It's not like you're dancing or anything to like get people, you know what I mean? It's like words, and words have so much power. So I always thought, like, how do they get ready? How does a spoken word artist get ready for a performance like that?
No, that's an amazing question. I do not mind sharing. So at first, when I first started hitting stages and memorizing my work, I did have stage fright a little bit, because I wasn't as confident, especially when it came to memorization. So that's kind of something that I perfected over time. But at the, you know, years ago, I definitely experienced stage fright a lot more often than I do now. And as a way to kind of get over that, even if like, because I never know when it's going to come again. I had a major performance at the Gardner last year, and I opened up for Maimouna Youssef, who is a phenomenal artist.
Oh my God, congratulations on that. She is so dope. I was watching her Tiny Desk performance with Common. Oh my God.
She was phenomenal. She's phenomenal. And so it was an honor to open up for her as the first act that night. And with that big of a deal for me, you know, I had stage fright. I was anxious.
Yeah.
But what sees me through that, even when it does pop up, I always do an intro piece. So I do a quick little intro blurb poem / you know, just a little minute, even less than a minute. It's only a few seconds. And that really breaks the ice for me. So even if I'm nervous, if I'm not nervous, it's always a way to train myself to get right on into it.
Awesome. That's great advice, because I think other artists need to, like, you know, hear that, to be like, you're not alone if you feel, even if you're as accomplished as you know, we all still get little nerves, and those nerves are good sometimes, because it means that you care, right? You care about what you're doing and stuff. So congratulations again on that. That's amazing. I saw that photo on your Instagram. I was like, oh my gosh, she met her. That's awesome. That's awesome. So, you know, again, it's National Poetry Month. You know, if there was a poet that you could have dinner with, you know, either living or an ancestor, who would it be? And, you know, what do you think you would talk about?
Oh, yes, the infamous Audre Lorde.
Oh, my God. Yes.
Without a doubt. Audre Lorde, you know, labeled herself. She was self-described as, I think, a Black lesbian mother warrior poet.
Yes.
So just those words alone are super powerful.
Yeah.
I feel like Audre Lorde, I use a lot. My work is guided by her principle or her quote as the personal being political. So I really hone in on that, and just as she did. She really used her creative talents for activism. So I would love to talk to her about her methods behind that, like how she was able to be such a civil rights activist, but also super creative. Her poetry is phenomenal. Her books are phenomenal. Like, she's it.
Yeah, she would have been like your auntie or something. She would have had your back. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a great choice. And you know, again, you know, speaking about like art activism, you're kind of like you are an art activist as well, because your poetry, you know, you said it's the personal is political. So like when you're writing, like, is that was something you're always thinking about, or is there other themes that you explore in your life, like when you're writing poetry?
Yeah, well, for those themes, my personal identity, it always comes out naturally. So I don't really think too much about those, because those are just like, bam, I have an experience. Like my poem, I think you saw that on my YouTube, the poem Hoops.
Yeah.
So that I was working, you know, as we all often do, I wear hoops all the time.
Yes.
And this white man colleague kind of made fun of them. He was like, oh, those are some big earrings, you know, kind of like, you know, looking down on it, you know, so Hoops kind of came about like that, because out of anger, you know. So a lot of times those types of identity or personal poems just come from experiences living in my body, you know. Other times when I'm trying to write, if maybe I have writer's block, or if I'm challenging myself to do kind of writing to a theme, I might look up the words and get the definitions and kind of brainstorm, have those words fixate, those definitions, fixate in my mind, and then write after that.
That's awesome. And I think that's great advice to our audience, right? For like new writers or people who are experiencing writer's block, to just kind of do that, just kind of write words out. I mean, that makes sense why you're a teaching artist, because it's like, all right, this is really good advice. Let me just do this exercise and stuff like that. And, you know, you talked a little briefly about the challenges that you went through, that you go through as a spoken word artist. Do you think poetry is a form of therapy for you?
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. Yes, it's definitely therapy. I do battle with mental illness. So years ago, my mom does as well. So years ago when I was in therapy since I was a little kid, because my mom, you know, battled really badly with mental illness. And I remember one of my therapists gave me a journal at the time. And so I took that and ran with it. I would write journal entries, diary entries, whatever you want to call them, like often. Poetry just flowed for me often. Honestly, I feel like really writing saved my life, you know, and then to take it to the next level, when I memorize, when I perform, I feel like it's saving other people's lives as well. Just me being honest about my experience, that it kind of like performing takes the therapeutic aspect of poetry for me, takes it as like, it's like the icing on the therapeutic cake when I get to perform, you know, and just feel people's vibes in the audience. They come up to me, you know, feel their energy, their gratitude for my words. I mean, it's really just all around. It's beautiful.
I mean, I think that's awesome, because it's like you have a superpower. I really feel like you do. You have a superpower
so
because,
much.
of course, because when you are feeling alive on stage, we're feeling alive being the audience members, right? Whether that's being right in front of you, you know, live watching it, or me watching it on my phone at home. Like, it's amazing that you have that superpower. And I like that you don't take it for granted, and you keep, you know, challenging, and you keep, you know, transitioning and like, I like that you're doing that. And I kind of wanted to ask you, because I know some people, right, like what's happening in the world right now with this pandemic, it may some people are doing okay with it, and then some people are like having high anxiety levels of it. So do you think that poetry could also be like a coping mechanism that could be used for like this moment?
Yes, without a doubt. Honestly, I feel like poetry is really kind of like a catharsis. I mean, it's a release of kind of like a release of suppressed emotions, a release of just emotions. We're all battling really high, you know, really strong emotions right now. And it's a difficult time, especially for those, you know, who already suffer with mental illness, like anxiety, depression, bipolar, you name it. It's really hard for everybody, but especially those who already have a predisposition for those things. So poetry can really, really kind of just let those emotions come out. Even if you're just like not a poet, even just taking like just free writing, you know, even if you're free writing, if you want to do poetry, I would say use your free writing and go off of that. So take themes out of what you just wrote, and don't judge yourself when you free write. Don't judge yourself even writing poetry. Just let it flow. I feel like even if you're challenged to write things, maybe even just do some writing prompts just to get it all out. I also suggest too dating your work, dating your poetry, dating your journal entries, especially during this time, because if you can look back on it and really have a personal historical account.
Yes, it's how you how you were dealing with this, you know, when this was happening. And again, it's like part of history or her story. So I think that's awesome. So I mean, I know that, you know, for many working artists, I'm a working artist as well, this is like a challenging time. How can we support you like during this time and the future?
Oh, thank you so much for asking, Farah. So I do have a chapbook that can be purchased, and it's a little older, but I would love to just get them out in the world so I could create a new work and you know, and repeat that cycle again. But so I have a chapbook, I have a YouTube channel. It would be great if people could subscribe to that. I would be so honored. What else? I also even just booking me after this is all over, booking me for speaking engagements, for performances, for writing workshops. I would love that. That would be an honor. That would really help me further getting my art into the world. So my handle on most social media is Miss SublimeLuv. That's MSSUblimeLuv.
Yes.
So if people follow me, I would love that, and you can stay in touch with whatever I'm doing.
That's awesome. So I'm going to ask you one final question because I know you're going to perform for us, which I'm so
Yes,
excited
yes.
about. Like, such a blessing. What are you looking forward to post quarantine? Like, what are you looking forward to the most?
So honestly, getting close with my friends and family again. I feel
Yeah.
like before this, we took that all for granted, you know?
Yes.
Even the introverts, even people who like being at home, I feel like they're even having a hard time because it's like they're forced to be now. They don't have the option.
Mhm.
So I would love just to give my friends and family hugs, be around them, be close to them. But besides that, I really would love to perform on stage again and have a physical audience.
Yes.
Because like there's nothing that beats a physical audience. Even though
Yes.
I'm grateful for the virtual Zooms and virtual performances, but it's not the same, you know.
Yeah, you need that
I really look
interpersonal.
forward.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I'm missing. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, Miss SublimeLuv, you're going to perform some poetry for us. We're so excited to hear it. Again, thank you so much for telling us about your story. I mean, my God, thank you for being a superhero in our community, for being an art activist, for just sharing your life with us. I think that's awesome, and we can't wait to not only see you virtually, every second Thursday or every other Thursday this month.
Well, for Feel It, Speak It, it's actually every Thursday that we're having it while we're all in quarantine. We're doing it every Thursday.
Okay, so every Thursday we'll see you and your amazing collective for National Poetry Month. And other than that, we'll always support you. So thank you so much again for sharing your story.
Thank you, Sarah.
And now, Fahrenheit TV, we are going to present to you Miss SublimeLuv, who's going to be sharing some of her poetry. Please listen and be inspired.
Fahrenheit TV.
When they see me coming, they know it's me. I walk, talk, and breathe poetry. In the beginning was the word, and it was me. Infinite love, truth, and justice. Yeah, they all lust this long to bust with my energy, not understanding the supreme synergy. Roots. I come from strong trees, planted deep in earth, ever flourishing, bark in every shade of brown. I was raised by Amazon women. Their leaves always provided shade from the scorching sun. I was placed in nutrient-rich soil. My queens gifted me rain, pushing up my growing branches to the sky. My circumference grows more immense each day. When they come to gaze at me in praise, I will forever point out my roots. Right. This one is called I Am From. I am from hardwood floors and porches with Black teenagers sitting close discussing life. I am from Nana's loud laughter, Pa's strong cologne, Magic 106.7, Kiss 108, and Jammin' 94.5. I am from the scent of salt water at the inkwell, tandem bike rides down sandy streets, and heavy backpacks. I am from trips to the corner store for candy. I am from lobster and butter on New Year's Eve, and Nana's can't ever resist baked from scratch cookies and cakes. I am from my mother's best in the world buffalo chicken, pizza, and Chinese food when she was too sick to cook. I am from we were never slaves. Look at that region in Bo Felicia. I am from you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. I am from cleanliness is next to godliness. I am from endless Michael Jackson music videos and Tracy Chapman's Crossroads album being on repeat. I am from being Black and just finding Nas at 15. I am from still loving rock and alternative. I am from not really knowing my father's side, but through Islam they are Rasul. I am from Williams and Matthews and Black folks from Canada. I am from the West Indies, Native tribes, China, and Africa that started it all. I am from Roxbury, a place that is being bulldozed for gentrification. I am from love, crazy, wild love that is still fighting for freedom.
Awesome.
Alrighty. This next one is called Bones. Alrighty, here we go. There is a skeleton in my closet. The time has come for it to be exposed. Many of us have these heavy bones, still lying around or hanging up. The cartilage I speak of first takes shape with thoughts, believing that one is better than some of the other Black folk, that being woke and educated sets you apart. My Black was ashamed of the hood, because when you're oppressed, the hate spewed at you permeates your mind, seeping into your bloodstream. One starts to buy into the narrative of those with color truly being inferior. So you play Olympic games of less than, elevating status, giving gold medals to those that assimilate well, look the part. My Nana called Black people regions, the N-word spelled backwards. Born in 1930, she passed for white. All of her kids were fair, except for my browner-hued aunt, who she wasn't too inclined to show off. She called me exotic and foreign when I was birthed into this world, relieved that I wasn't dark with coily hair like my father, would complain that my sister's hair was nappy, loved me even more when mine was blown dry. This was what formed my skeletal system. The spine grew upright, strong, tall, at Dana Hall, one of the most prestigious private schools for girls in the world. Being exposed to whiteness and wealth was a pill that my innocent Black girlhood swallowed at first. I would show off old pictures of my Nana when she was young, desiring that my classmates see me as they see themselves. I just knew Blackness wasn't good. It was ugly, shameful, and undesirable. Years went by. I aged and became conscious, learning and loving every bit of my Blackness. It was a journey I fought hard for, still fight. Each day is resistance from the skeleton that whispers self-hate. Internal oppression is pervasive. It must be named to be dissected. We must discuss it to demolish, turn all of our collective bones to ash. Alrighty. This one is called A Haunting. Mental illness has haunted my entire existence. It is a spirit that I can only tame, yet never rid myself of. It has possessed both my mother and father. They have succumbed to its frights, and now they self-medicate with religion or drugs. I choose the psychoactive ones, prescribed by a doctor's hand. One of my best friends got lost in a haunted house and is yet to find his way out. I fear it will swallow my nephew whole, for he is next in line. In my experience, the only way to live with ghosts is to study them, understand what sets them off, pay attention to what you're doing when they become still, quiet. These apparitions choose you as a home for a divine purpose. Be grateful, love them, be kind. Don't envision it a haunting. Know you are gifted. One day, I will have gained more wisdom. One day, this will be a new poem. I will call it a blessing. This one is Black and Queer. To be Black and queer is to break your family's heart, even if they don't tell you. They whisper behind your back, pray for your soul. My mother's tactic was an attempted exorcism of the gay spirit inside me. My father told me that my love of women will send me to hell. To be Black and queer is to be excluded from the love of the greater Black community, to be other inside of your own home, places of worship, to be disregarded, lumped into the same category as pedophiles, to be a disgusting thing. To be Black and queer is to be brave, bold, bright, to shine in spite of, to reclaim time, space, truth, living out loud. We care not of their opinions, creating cultural trends, birthing movements. To be Black and queer is to be aware that this world isn't worthy of us. We not only exist, but we thrive, despite racism, sexism, homophobia, transphobia. We are the definition of fly, despite endless attempts at clipping our glorious wings. We soar. So this next one is a part of my April National Poetry Month 30 for 30. So April has 30 days. So we title, most poets will title their work like 1:30, 2:30, and so on. So this is my 11:30, which I'm going to read because it's new and I didn't memorize it yet. So here we go, 11:30. I heard once that if you stare at the sun during sunrise, it is bearable. It energizes you, an awakening from the inside. This reminds me of love. At the start, everything is wide-eyed, refreshing, fills you up with light. Some experience love at the point where the sun is highest in the sky. There it becomes dangerous to stare into, to stick around for. The rays are strong. It is blinding, aggressive. I desire a sunset love, one where the sun is calm, slowly making its descent in the sky. The sight of it makes clouds colorful. Onlookers can admire. Paint me in that romance, one where the goodbye is slow and tender, so sweet that you meet there again every night, endlessly. All right, and this is my last one I'm going to share with you all. It's called Who is God, which is one of my favorite pieces of all time that I've written. So I'm just going to get into it. Who is God? The Black woman is God. I said the Black woman is God. Let every picture of white man Jesus be destroyed. May we build new places of worship, honoring the feminine. The Black woman is God. The most ancient human skeleton is a Black woman. Mama Africa be home to humanity. It is time for all to see. We are all birthed out of dark wombs. And isn't this a metaphor for the author of the universe? She effortlessly lined up the stars and planets. Looked at Earth satisfied. Thought, this has all it needs. Let me make the human race. Now I'll tell you all the real story. Mother God made us in her own image out of the earth. We came woman first. And from her rib came man. The true lesser sex. He ain't nothing without a woman. Continues to be made manifest from woman. And that original woman be Black, be eternally beautiful, be creator, be God.
Wow, I love that one. That's like my favorite too. I mean, I love all of them, but really that one is the one that I played the most on YouTube. My God, I love it. It makes me feel so powerful. I'm like, yes, let's go. Like,
thank you, Farah.
Yeah, this is amazing. So again, I know I say thank you so many times, but I really truly am grateful because you didn't have to do this, and you shared such a beautiful story, and your poetry just speaks for itself. It's beyond powerful. It makes me feel so amped, like I'm about to listen to this all the time.
Thank you so much.
But yes, can you just tell our audience again how to get in touch with you?
Yes, sure. So my website is SublimeLuv.com, which is SublimeLuv, so SublimeLuv.com. My Instagram handle and most social media handle is Miss SublimeLuv, so that's MSSublimeLuv, so Miss SublimeLuv. And then you can also go onto my YouTube. I would love to get more subscribers, and my YouTube is called SublimeLuv Brand. And I'm also a makeup artist, so I also have another channel within that is makeup. So yeah,
Yes.
so follow me, loves, follow me.
That's awesome. You look flawless. I was like, yes, really? Like, I'm not surprised. You're an all-around artist.
Fahrenheit TV.
Wow, shout out to Miss SublimeLuv for taking the time to share her powerful story with us. It was such an honor to hear more about her journey of how she became a spoken word artist, and how even with the quarantine time she's still creating. She's still doing virtual open mics, and that she takes her work very seriously because she describes herself as also an activist, and you could see that within some of the poems that she shared with us, those words, those stories, those themes that she chose to talk about. For me personally, I could connect with, and I really admire that she was so kind enough to kind of share that story, and really encourage us as well to create in these times, to write, document our stories, during this historical moment. So shout out to Miss SublimeLuv. Please, please, please subscribe to her YouTube channel. On there, you can see some of her past performances. And you could also even see, some performances on her Instagram channel, where you could see the link to the virtual open mic that she's participating in this month. I will also put that link here on the screen, so that way you guys could tune in. They're doing a virtual open mic every Thursday this month, and I think they're going to continue, as time goes by. But that's really cool, especially for National Poetry Month, that, you know, our poets in our neighborhood, in our community, are still giving us words to make us feel something deep, you know, to give us some stories that we could relate to, and give us some words to really, you know, encourage us to be optimistic about the future. I know the future could look very scary for all of us, and, you know, there's a lot of unknowns and what ifs, but, you know, if we lead with love and not fear, I think that we could build, you know, a new normal, a new beginning into, you know, what life will look like after this. So shout out again to Miss SublimeLuv. She also mentioned to me that she is a makeup artist, so if you need some tips of how to make your makeup look as flawless as her, please hit her up and subscribe to that YouTube channel. All of those links could be found on her Instagram channel, Instagram page, and we will also put them here. I'm so thankful to her, and it was so much fun creating art to one of her poems, Who is God? That's one of my favorite poems by her. So shout out to Miss SublimeLuv. We hope to actually have you in the studio one day when we get back to normal and meet you in person, but that was the best Zoom interview I've ever had in my life. So very grateful for that. As you know, we really care about our Fahrenheit TV family, and so I wanted to continue to check in with some of our past guests, and I had the opportunity to talk to two of our season 3 guests, Miss Bianca and as well as Miss Charmaine, and they both were telling me how, you know, they are staying at peace during this epidemic. They shared some helpful tips, and of course, you know, they gave us a beautiful shout out, which we always love. But most importantly, they told us that they're doing okay and that they're healthy, and that makes us really happy to hear. So please tune into some of these clips, hear what they're saying of how you could stay at peace and stay inspired, and tune in after this.
Fahrenheit TV.
Hey guys, it's Bianca Rose here, writer, DJ, and founder of the Boldly Beautiful Women's Circle. Just here to share some words of advice for those of us that may have a hard time adjusting to this quarantine. Very strange times, and first of all, before I even get into the advice, I want to send my well wishes, my prayers, my good vibes to all of those who may be suffering, may know someone that's suffering, or even passed. Also send in my good vibes and prayers and well wishes to those of us who have not gotten any contact yet, as it's very dangerous out here. So I hope you guys are staying safe inside. I know I'm trying to do the same. I know it's hard to, especially as enticing as it is to go outside when nobody's out there and you can actually hear birds chirping outside and things like that, which goes into my words of advice. I just strictly believe that this is a phenomenon that's happening in the world right now. I could have never predicted anything like this to even happen in my lifetime. I believe that people actually go their whole lifetimes wishing, not necessarily for people to be dying, but wishing for these types of breaks from life. I think it's very important for us to bring our sense of awareness up and notice what's going on. The world system completely shut down, and that's phenomenal. I don't even have any words besides the emergency services that are of course up and running, and huge shout out to all those that are just holding humanity down right now. Hospital, everybody who works in the hospital, everybody who works in the farms, everybody who's doing whatever they got to do for humanity to survive right now, you guys are really it. And shout out to everybody that also have been donating, people who actually are wealthy and have the money to help out. You guys also go unnoticed. We appreciate you as well. But just going back to this whole phenomenon and going back to us little guys who we don't really know what to do with ourselves right now, this is the time to create. This is the time to go off on yourself. Now, I know that I speak for a lot of us that have goals and dreams that we build up in our head that honestly have been accumulating over time, but we just haven't had the chance to just sit down and take care of this or that because we're in a constant cycle of just doing for everybody but ourselves. Well, guess what? This happened. We are now forced to stay in by yourself. You are forced to not have to do anything for anybody, especially those of us who don't know how to stop doing things for people and don't know how to take care of ourselves as much as we go out there and be there for other people. This is especially for us. This is a chance for us to get it together. I really do hope that all of us that are sitting home, I know that everybody has something on their head, something on their list that they've always wanted to do, where they know if they get it done, they're gonna feel so good. It's gonna bring you that complete feeling inside. You know that feeling. Do it. And I hope a rush of all of those goals and those dreams that have been accumulating over your time in your head, I really do hope that they start to come back the more your awareness increases on what is going on right now. I really hope you guys are taking this time in to just self-care, self-love, do you, meditate, take care of your skin, eat good. They say it takes 21 days to make a habit, right? We've already had 21 days, and we're gonna have 21 more days, and possibly another 21 more days after that. Build habits. Use this time to evolve. You don't have to do anything for anybody. You don't have to work for anybody. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to do this, do that, do that. Take advantage. Take advantage. Go hard. Don't stop. Keep going. So when reality comes back in, you're just gonna keep going. It's just gonna feel normal. Like, I've been doing this, you know? All right, I hope that was good. Peace and love, guys. All right, sending my good vibes to everyone during these very strange times.
Hey Fahrenheit TV, my name is Charmaine Santiago. Galdong. I'm an artist here in Boston. My base is acting, playwriting, and I do some dance as well. So one of the things that we can do during this quarantine pandemic that we are experiencing right now, being at home, it can be really frustrating. And I'm also trying to figure out what I can do to stay productive. So as the days goes by, I've been trying to figure out some type of groove to just keep my mind distracted. Definitely watch less TV, because that just gives us more anxiety and we just get stressed out with everything, you know. We can just watch it just a little bit, see what's going on, whatever, but cool. Sometimes we just need a break from all that stuff, what's happening right now. If you have an art project you have going on, pick it up and pick up where you left off. That's one thing. I'm going to pick up where I left off with some writing that I had going on. Life gets distracted and we just get focused on so many different things. So that's one of my goals, to just kind of go back into my writing for sure. I've been staying in touch with my family for sure. I've been doing a lot of Zoom parties with my cousins every Friday, so that's something that you can do too. Just do a lot of video chatting, because it just makes the time just go by for sure, and you just keep yourself distracted from what's really happening out there. Call a friend, that's for sure, if you haven't talked to them in a long time. Do some well checks. Well checks, that's one of the most important things that we should do too. And if you're outside, make sure you wear your mask, but why don't you just walk over to or drive over to the Charles River. It's beautiful, the flowers are blooming, and you just want to stay more in touch with nature. And eat a lot of food, definitely, that helps to build your immune system, such as ginger, and eat a lot of oranges, vitamin C. Sometimes we forget about that stuff, so those simple things that will help us to build our immune system, to keep our mind, body strong, and we can just stay more focused too. So yeah, I've been taking a lot of like Echinacea, which is a flower, taking capsules of that. You can find it at the pharmacy, or tinctures too. And I've been also using a lot of elderberries. That's something that you can think about too if you're not allergic to berries. Elderberry is a good way to kind of build your immune system, and fights colds too. So let's just go back into the basics of eating more healthy, not eating a lot of junk, because that just keeps us really sluggish as well. So yeah, so eat healthy, stay active, find something creative. In due time it will come, for sure. It doesn't have to be right now. This is not a productivity contest. Just tackle one thing at a time, and come back to it later, that's for sure. So peace.
Fahrenheit TV.
Shout out to Bianca. I mean, she is such a powerhouse. I love that she's so fearless in the way she sees the world and the way she moves in the world. I know she's writing an incredible book right now, which I'm so proud of her that she's doing, and I can't wait to read. And I love that she is staying, productive. And that's one of the things that I kind of battle with during, this moment in our lives, because on one hand I want to make sure that I'm taking advantage of the free time that I have right now, right? So making sure that I'm staying productive and doing projects that mean something to me, doing projects that I've always wanted to do but didn't have the time to do. But then I'm also making sure that I'm getting enough rest, that I'm making sure that I'm taking advantage of sleeping in, of working out in my own home, of eating nutritious foods. So I know it's a little bit of balance, but for me, weirdly, I've kind of been like working every other day. So like, say on a Monday I'm like very productive, and Tuesday I kind of take it low, might engage in like a favorite childhood movie, or do some yoga, and then the next day do another productive project. And I think for me that's how I've kind of balanced staying productive but still practicing self-care. And I really encourage you, like Bianca has said, to do that, because you deserve to. And this might be one of the few moments in our lives that we're able to kind of slow down. I mean, literally the world has shut down and slowed down. So whatever you want to do that brings you peace, that you're staying at home and you're doing, please do that. That could be art, that could be music, that could be writing, that could be sleeping in, that could be definitely catching up with your loved ones via Zoom, via social media. Whatever you need to do to stay at peace, please do that. Another thing that I really love that Miss Charmaine was, shout out to Charmaine. If you haven't seen that episode when her and her dad came on and they were talking about, Afro Latin music, and she even did a performance for us, and she was talking about Puerto Rico and how it was for her to grow up there, and how she's kind of brought that back here into the States and really remained engaged in the culture and teaching people more about the music. It's something I admire, and I love how calm and how she's still staying engaged, even if she's not able to perform out in public right now. She's still staying at home and doing things that bring her peace. And one of the main things that she shared in that clip was making sure that we're eating nutritiously, which I think is very, very important. I decided to kind of show you one of these remedies I kind of learned online, which my family makes a lot of Haitian Caribbean families makes this little kind of immune punch, I like to call it in my mind, because it's made with oranges and lemons, ginger, all good stuff that kind of boosts your immune system and kind of keep you healthy. So stay tuned, because I'm going to teach you how to make it. It's very easy and it tastes really good and it's really good for you. So that's even more important. So I wanted to just shout out again to Charmaine and Bianca. Please support them in whatever they're doing on their platforms. Bianca with her book, Charmaine with her music and her performances in the future. I am grateful to you ladies, and I'm so happy that you are healthy and you're at peace and you're still staying productive through all of this. Fahrenheit TV is now over. After this commercial break, you're going to learn how to make this immune booster punch. And we'll learn a little bit more about what we have in store for next month's episode. So stay tuned.
Fahrenheit TV.
Cooking in the kitchen, making something hot and fresh for you. Cooking in the kitchen, making something delicious for you. Cooking in the kitchen, Fahrenheit kitchen. Cooking in the kitchen, making something delicious for you.
Fahrenheit TV.